Hello there, my loyal fish fans, and welcome back to the channel. So if you read the title, affirmative action is being fought in the Supreme Court. I'm sure most of you have an opinion on the issue, so comment down below your thoughts, and I may select your comment to be displayed in a future video. Here's my favorite comment for this video. Kayonak says, "Bruh, 3 subs? Why was this randomly recommended to me? LMAO. Either way, good vid." Anyways, thank you for the comment. I appreciate the feedback. And yes, it's a good thing to see that YouTube's recommending my content, especially since I'm such a small creator. Anyways, let's fight to change that. Make my voice heard across all of YouTube. Yeah. Anyways, before we get into this video, I would like you to hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the main channel, hit the bell, follow me on Rumble and Twitter. Also, Fish Politics videos always release earlier on Rumble, so make sure to follow me there. And without any further ado, let's get into the news. So, the Supreme Court is arguing whether affirmative action is moral or not. For those of you who don't know what affirmative action is, basically it's a system that the left feels could help racial diversity in schools by setting a point goal for, like, specific races instead of like everyone needing the same amount of points or something like that to get into college. So like a black kid having the lowest point goal with a white kid needing more points than the black kid, and an Asian needing the most points beating the white kid and the black kid. Now, if this sounds like the left is trying to fight racism with more racism, well, you would be right. The reason Asian kids get into these better schools is, because they work hard for it. And making it so much harder to get into these schools, colleges, whatever, because of their race is, well, to me, it's racist and immoral. If a black kid gets in, I want them to feel like it's because they achieved something, and not because society made it easier for them. At the end of the day, all this does is create more racial division, because now Asian kids are thinking, okay, I need to beat the white man and the black man. The white kid's thinking, I need to beat the black man, and the black kid's feeling like everyone hates them because it's easier for them to get into the school that they're choosing. So, let's play a clip from ABC talking about this announcement and the arguments involved.
Let's bring in ABC News Supreme Court contributor and professor at Cardoso School of Law, Kate Shaw, to break this down for us. Kate, the group challenging affirmative action says the 1954 decision, Brown versus Board of Ed, which desegregated America's schools, requires race neutrality. Can you walk us through the legal argument?
Sure thing, Diane. So the group Students for Fair Admissions, which is the plaintiff in both of the cases the court heard yesterday, one against UNC and one against Harvard, basically says that Brown versus Board of Education mandated color blindness in education, that by striking down segregated public schools, right, by ruling that separate but equal was inherently unconstitutional. That's what the court did in 1954 in Brown. And that basically the rule that Brown set forth was a rule that the Constitution doesn't permit any consideration of race. Now, the defendants in this case, the 2 universities and actually the federal government represented by Biden's Solicitor General, Elizabeth Prelogar, basically said that that argument that Brown mandates no consideration of race here is wrong in basically every respect, that there is a world of difference between mandating segregated public schools precisely in order to subordinate and to subjugate Black school children and to preserve white supremacy is a world apart from modest consideration of race when making admissions decisions at colleges and universities, precisely in order to build diverse classrooms for everyone's benefit. But essentially, those are the 2 arguments you really heard on display in the 5 hours that the court considered the cases yesterday.
Now, the Biden administration calls affirmative action a national security imperative. If the Supreme Court decides to rule against its use, does the White House have any potential recourse?
Yeah, Diane, that was a very interesting line in the argument yesterday. The Biden administration basically argued, picking up on an argument that got a lot of traction in a 2003 case in which the court upheld affirmative action, basically the argument is that the military academies use race-conscious admissions policies precisely in order to build a diverse officer corps that can command a diverse fighting force. We have a diverse military, and military leaders say we need to have diverse officers and diverse military leaders, and that national security compels it. And if we need to use some degree of race consciousness in making admissions decisions in the service academies, then that has to be permitted by the Constitution. And so the federal government really focused on this argument. And so, I think it is possible that the court, I think Terry is exactly right, that the court is likely to rule against Harvard and UNC and against most affirmative action policies in colleges and universities, but it could carve out an exception and basically say, because national security involves presidential prerogatives that are different from the kinds of interests in ordinary colleges and universities, we're not going to prohibit their use in those academies. It could just say we're not addressing that question today.
So anyways, as you saw, both arguments were being explained a bit in the situation going on. Personally, I really don't think affirmative action is, I really don't like it. Because I just think it's racist. You're trying to fix what you claim there's racism in this country, and what you're doing is you're trying to fix that racism, so-called racism, with more racism. And I personally think that if you're going to make it into a great school, I want it to be based on your hard work, and not because of your race or the color of your skin. I feel like people would feel better about it if they weren't just, given a spot based on the color of their skin. And also, you saw in the clip, the woman bring up the argument of having diversity hires for the military. I think that people most qualified for the job should, be the ones in these positions of power. Because especially in the military, lives are on the line. Like, I don't want someone that doesn't know what they're doing in that spot. Okay, if I'm, if this guy's in charge of my life and he freaking gets me into this risky situation that could have been completely avoided if he just put someone who was actually qualified for the job in charge. Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed. If I didn't die first, of course. But yeah, man, I believe in the military we can lose lives if you're not careful. The most qualified man or person or whatever for the job is required. Anyways, yeah, thank you for watching the video. In related news, Trump announced that he would run in 2024, so that might be the next video's topic. But for now, you might want to hit that bell, leave a comment for a chance to be featured in an upcoming video. And thank you all for watching. Stay informed.